Hey, good morning, everybody. So welcome back to part two of our trip to Turkey and what we're thinking about when it comes to a possibility of a place to retire. As Turkey certainly would fit the bill. It was certainly a surprise for me, and when my wife suggested it, went on a trip to the Balkans and fell in love with it. So part one, I covered Istanbul. Probably not the most exciting video, as I wasn't on my walk that day, but hey, we will adapt and overcome, right? So but really, after our time in Istanbul, what we decided to do is we had this rental car and we wanted to make our way down to Izmir, and that is beautiful countryside and lots of really cool historic places. Turkey was certainly the area impacted by, the early faith in the early church, the early Christian church. And even in Revelations, John speaks of 7 cities in Turkey. And we passed by 4 of them, and we visited 3 of them. And it was very interesting. When you visit each one of them, it's you walk away with really very interesting thoughts and experience. The first was Smyrna. It was closest for us, and so we stopped in Smyrna, and that had quite a few ruins in Smyrna, water sources, tall structures that were still in place. It had a very big area where you could walk around in and you can visit in. It was very, very cheap to get in, and there wasn't a ton of people there. Once we found parking and made our way in, there wasn't it wasn't so crowded, and we could get around and navigate, and you could they had like literature which you could read up on and see what was going on in each of the areas. It was pretty cool. Smyrna was definitely interested. In Atlanta, Georgia, there's a town called Smyrna. I think that's where Julia Roberts grew up. I didn't know where that originated from, but I guess it was from the town of Smyrna in Turkey, from the Bible. So that was certainly pretty interesting. And then the next place we stopped at was Thyatira. And that was a very small city, small town, small area, tied to the Romans, tied to the Byzantine, tied to a lot of different places. I mean, it had been around a long time, Thyatira. Not very organized, little dinky building where you would just pay something. But it had a couple cool little restaurant shops outside of it that we went to, and we wound up getting some Turkish tea, and it was a place to chill. Didn't spend a ton of time in Thyatira, but it was still fun. And I think in one of the one of the like antique shops, we found something, a gift for our son. And then on our way down to Izmir, which is where we would go to Ephesus, we stopped in this really cool little mountain town called Selçuk, and up in the it is a windy, small, narrow road system up to Selçuk, and I'll put a link on it. But there's this really cool hotel that started off in one building and kind of grew itself, and it's up in this mountain, and we finally found it. My wife found it on TripAdvisor or something, and man, that was the most charming little hotel. And it had this cool restaurant that you could sit out. It was all outdoor, and we sat out and we could see the whole city of Selçuk below us. And the people, the ladies there were so nice, so sweet, so charming. The daughter was our waitress, and she was so sweet. And man, what a cool place. I had the pasta, and Christy had like a salad or something, and we had the bread, and man, that place was cool. And we had coffee and tea, of course, TTT everywhere. And yeah, Selçuk, what a cool little town. Very crowded, very hilly, lots of hills. And yeah, but it was fantastic. So after we left Selçuk, then we were making our way to Izmir. We stopped in Ephesus. And man, if you have a chance to go to Ephesus, you should. That was super amazing. Definitely the biggest historical site we saw. I mean, it had the big amphitheater there, was massive, under renovations. You know, they charge you to get in. It was a lot of people. I mean, a lot of buses, a lot of people, and a lot of history, and just super amazing. Ephesus is definitely one crazy, amazing place. And it was a big area. And it, you know, that city went all the way down to the Adriatic, you know, and at one time. And so they've restored quite a bit of it, and lots of cool statues and lots of cool structures still there. Just amazing on how they built all that. How'd they do all that with horse and buggy? I mean, it's beyond me. But Ephesus was a great place. And Turkey is definitely a great choice. I mean, it's certainly one of the top places for cheapest cost of living. It has very modern infrastructure. There's like 9 different ways to get visas to stay there. I mean, it's just, it's got a good healthcare system, got a great transportation system, and, you know, it works off the Turkish lira, which we had a good exchange rate. We found everything to be very affordable there. And yeah, we could make our way around, no problem. A lot of English speakers. So from you know, never really thought about it, but certainly Turkey would be a cool place. I think it would be good to go see other cities like Ankara and up on the Mediterranean, you know, on what they call the Turkish Med. And so that there's all kinds of cities, Anatolia, place like that, where you can go and it's affordable. So anyway, that's one place that I would consider, you know, retiring in. So definitely thinking about Turkey. What else? The other place would be, cost of living wise, I think I said it, but definitely you can get really affordable accommodations in Turkey. So definitely a place to consider in Turkey. Okay, well, anyway, that's my part 2 of 3-part series. Check it out. I hope you like it. Definitely a different, peaceful walk today. Different area. I decided to change it up a little bit. All right, well, anyway, God bless you guys. Appreciate you checking out the Over 60 guy, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.